If constitutional law has no place or meaning in a courtroom, as is proven by the evidence, then this is not America anymore. Does that not demand a fight? When we, the people, are refused the legal right to be informed and protected and allowed our own decision regarding those people and those leaders who gamble with our entire planet, all its nature, protecting the destruction of all its resources, ending the future of every child, then this is not a democracy anymore. We are attacked, plain and simple. By that cause, and the simple truth of our time on this earth, it is not necessary to pay tax to the ones who are attacking life, exterminating the future, killing the world, destroying the nation, refusing democracy, living in fantasies and lies, corrupting everything we value in society. That would be paying the executioner, and it is not a valid governmental expense. It is constitutional anarchy. When the guaranteed rights of constitutional law have been met, the reality of threats that will make us all extinct are investigated and proven by public examination, when wrong is not death for our world. The money is returned to reality, ending counterfeiting and lies, stopping the dispossession of our nation, our property stolen, our securities simply given away by lies has been stopped. Then taxation has its dignity and purpose returned. A tax revolt ends. The First Amendment U.S. law says, redress of grievances, or more simply, the right of we the people to hold our employees accountable and determine by our own future by vote under constitutional restraints, governs this nation as our authority here. Because we are the owners of our democracy. Criminal contempt by the judiciary, proven by irrefutable evidence, as is to refuse all constitutional decree in every courtroom throughout the state and federal system, including Supreme Courts, both state and nation, in case after case, start here, thereby denying the law of our democracy, the reality of our authority as we the people govern ourselves by constitutional law. That failure is not what I am willing to be taxed for. Duty to our nation, life, and world demands better of both you and me. Looking, the money is dead. Consider the source. Examine exhibits are these in the case. By examining the evidence of federalreserve.gov, table L5, total assets and liabilities of this USA, looking across the top year, the years are on the left, quarters are on the current year on the right. We find this table is listed in billions. 1 equals 1 billion. In 1998, the liabilities were 55.9 trillion. Total assets at that time were 76.1 trillion. In 2003, 75.9 trillion debt, 96.2 trillion assets. 2009, 121 trillion in debt, 153 trillion in assets. 2014, 139 trillion in debt, 188 trillion in assets. The difference 16 years makes is an increase in debt of $83.2 trillion. An increase in assets or currency printed is $112.4 trillion. The difference 4 years make, the last four, is an increase of $17.8 trillion of debt, an increase of $35 trillion in the currency added to our economy. Remembering that $1 trillion does by the math equal $10,000 per each and every one of 100 million people. That means over the last 16 years, our debt load as a nation increased to $832,000 per each individual by counting 100 million citizens. While the money supply increased during that time, $1.124 million per each individual for every 100 million citizens. Roughly 312 million people in the U.S. are citizens, with 102 million actually working. During the last 4 years, plus 1/4 of our accounting, our debt load as a nation increased $178,000 per each of 100 million individual workers, while the money supply increased in those 4 years by $352,000 for each and every one of 100 million people. Did your salary go up by $352,000 in the last 4 years? Somebody's did. At least they collected it, as this currency inflation does exist in someone's hands, and not a single whisper from your media, even though they knew. What is not inflated by government directly is given to banks on Wall Street to expand the inflation, so it is not readily accounted for. It's magic. Or more simply, the banks can legally multiply every dollar in their accounting by 10, while Wall Street can legally provide margin accounts that not less than every dollar will get you 50 more to gamble with. A reality intensified by Wall Street because nothing there is sold at less than 10 times its actual worth. Or more simply, it has no real connection to business. It's just a gambling game with our economy at stake. These additions to the currency is where the extra can't possibly be true money in the GDP comes from. Fantasy then that then pays for all the extreme experimentation, degradation, destruction, disease introduced as genetic mutilation, lack of sense, the attack on our democracy for the money, the greed overrunning society, and 1,000 other lesser evils because nobody wants to pay the price of what our leaders and their followers have done to life in this nation. The cry, give us lies, and let the future be damned. Sacrifice the children, throw away the water, oxygen, food, etc. equals soon you will be dead by countless attacks on reality. Or more simply, America itself is under severe attack in all aspects of life and nation, and the people don't even know it because the free press exists no more. The U.S. Supreme Court sold it. Adding in, the majority are so damn concerned they might lose a penny, they might be ridiculed for demanding common sense as they have been attacked by the propaganda media. With experts, they are allowing our executioners to throw this entire nation and this entire world in the garbage forever. No matter what you give these leaders in tax, they spend whatever they want by counterfeiting. They're then claiming what can never be paid is not inflation, it's debt, your debt. When it so clearly is inflation, the reality only we the people are removed from those numbers. We don't share in the inflating of our currency because this is where the university diploma gets its $1 million more. Straight from fairyland, without any reference to reality at all. Counterfeiter bribe them, but they do use it to steal our property, to give foreigners our nation, to dispossess us all from the land and our resources, ripping the work you have sacrificed to earn for the later day by tearing tomorrow into civil war. Other than the fact the money in your bank account has no meaning, it lies, and they bribe. Reality states to pay for their endless wants without any association to reality. Somebody has to be slave. If the money you are paid is not real, it's you that's slave. Is that not so? Liars, cheaters, and thieves ain't government, it's organized crime. Fools, failures, murderers, and assassins form the demand to exterminate life on this planet with genetic mutilation and experiments that gamble with all life on this world. Adding reality is a resource depletion that can only lead to complete world chaos. Our incessant Satan on earth. It means destroyers of this world. Not a religious statement, it is our reality. These things exist. Such as a 10 million degree fire that does not extinguish itself means no one survives. Just for instance, this is one experiment they're doing. Where is your duty to life? Just want what you want? Don't bother me? Well, guess what? Once biologic chaos, genetic mutilation that they're doing, the destruction of order, discipline, balance, structure in DNA. It adds into walking, talking, hearing, seeing, and everything else we depend upon. Even the ability to think itself is spread too far. The whole earth dies, including you, by this mutilation. Does disease not spread? They throw it out into the world everywhere. And the people have said, this all can't be. University knows what it's doing. However, what the university is doing, as is proven by the evidence, is playing God. People just like you ain't no better. Can you play God? If you believe the university knows what it is doing, they will bring the same fire here as is on the sun. It burns your skin from 91 million miles away in summer. On purpose, they're bringing. Depending upon this entire theory is not enough gravity here, so a 10 million degree fire will just put itself out. Wrong as a dead world. Once the court delivers its constitutional duty and provides all constitutional guarantees to me and to every citizen as supported and defended by our democracy, as is we the people, the contract of redress of grievances and more will be enforced upon our employees by their own oath. That is the sign of true constitutional government, justice, and true democracy. Proving to them then that you don't get paid, or our employees don't get paid for invading our democracy and removing our laws or destroying our Constitution from the courtroom. Proving no one is allowed to threaten all life on earth. Proving no one is allowed to steal all our money or use the military however they wish. Is that not a right of ownership, our authority as we the people? The law of this United States and the state of Illinois is defined in These filings, in this case 14 SC-2 and all other cases on these sites, proves by law and irrefutable evidence that the Constitution does not rule here. Proves the court and its lawyers believe in arrogance that they have no legal obligation to adhere to their oath of office. Therefore, a legal guaranteed right is written in the Constitution itself called redress of grievances for each and every citizen of this state and nation. This democracy does not exist as a fact. A reality established in trial after trial, the law of our government. The Constitution itself has failed in case after case, and thereby an insurrection exists against America, and the traitor is found within our leadership. My purpose is, I'm telling you to investigate and prove the truth of what happens when we cannot be wrong, establishing the evidence of what humanity is doing to this planet. That is now definable and plain to see if you simply think. Instead of being told, you think for yourself. Demand proof of reality, what it means to be wrong. No more experts, no more committees to decide, no more backrooms, no refusing to testify, no liars, etc. This is life or death for our world, or to jail or to death they go. We the people will decide for ourselves if our future and our children can survive by open before the world redress of grievances trial. That is the purpose of this site. Future can be known, as is clearly stated by university notes, for example. They are experimenting every day, going to bring the same fire here as is on the sun. They are every day going to mutilate every life on Earth. And just consider, if an egg does not complete the enclosure, then there is no next generation. Small change in genetic structure. Genetic mutilation destroys the disciplines, order, balance, structure, thought, and everything else this creation is, bringing chaos instead of nature to our world. Which is, nature is genetic construction, and chaos is simply evolution, as is their own religion. They want nothing of truth. You must think for yourself. Evolution says we build ourselves one piece at a time, without even a mind, a hand, a tool, or anything else. It's all magic. Wake up. Pitiful. Take a look at the nursing home and understand what it means to lose even a little bit of what you were born with. What good is the rest of your body without a heart or a bone or bloods and with no joints or a mind? It's just a pitiful damn lie. Evolution is worthless without substance of any kind. Adaptation is the sign and seal of true thought and design. I knew this would be needed, so it was prepared in advance. The university diplomas in charge of our world are destroying every resource, or allowing them to be stored, and are working in countless ways to make you war, to kill the future itself. That is what hate does. Or more distinctly, that is what rulers are willing to do, so you can't see or don't see their mistakes and failures, and thereby remove them. They worship and want power, pride, and prestige, demanding it's more than your life is worth. Our reality, arrogance is our enemy. A disease that rampages through society at epidemic levels as is today. Not the least of which is a federal IRS that steals in open court, and a state IRS that threatens to bypass a bank account refusing the money so they can attack a vehicle and sell it for pennies instead to whoever is first in line, and then come back for more. Establishing by that action is clear extortion, using government to hide this operation, deliberate organized crime using the courtroom to hide that fact, and establishing the reality of policing operations in support of these actions that are not less than simple thuggery. Have they not done this before? Is that not worth investigating? www.trialoflife.info. The university diploma by its leadership has declared a clear and absolute disrespect for everything, especially life. That is what the evidence says. Even you can understand what that future will be. Call it whatever you wish, it is all simple and plain. Tragedy coming. Wake up or die. This ain't no game.